Okay, we have developing news out of Washington, D.C. this morning that will aid in recovery on Hawaii Island following Tropical Storm Marcel. Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard joining us this morning with all the details. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Ron. Good to be here. Aloha.
Tell us about this. And I'm sure farmers are breathing a sigh of relief this morning that help is on its way.
You know, it's been a very difficult time, especially for the residents and the farmers and the community in Puna, working through this recovery. So this is a small bit of good news to come out of the U.S. Department of Agriculture, providing assistance for farmers whose crops really have been completely devastated and people losing sometimes almost a year's worth of livelihood. I urge those farmers, they can either contact the mayor's office, the Hawaii Island mayor's office, or my office, and we can kind of hold their hand and walk them through the process on the different options that are available to them, because there will be different options based on each situation that each of these farmers are facing. And,
you know, they're just trying to survive and endure, so yeah, the process can be overwhelming, I'd imagine.
It can be, and you know, with these things, unfortunately, there's a lot of red tape and bureaucracy that has to be waded through, and that's where I look forward to working with them to make sure that at the end of the day, they get the assistance that they absolutely need to recover from this this hurricane that hit that community especially very hard.
You know, and a lot of folks still not, I'll say it, they're angry, or at least disappointed that FEMA said no to more relief. And is that power yet? Is there some way we can still appeal that?
I am one of those who was extremely disappointed by the outcome of FEMA's decision. I think the governor and Mayor Kenoi are looking at how they could apply for an appeal that would present a stronger case, but I would just tell people that it's important that we recognize there are many other options that we have to look at. FEMA is not ever going to be the only answer, so we're looking at other federal forms of assistance, also looking to the state as well as the county to continue to search for other ways that they can help those, both individual families as well as some of the small businesses and farmers in the community that still need help.
Like Mayor says, he's been overwhelmed by how all the neighbor islands, the other islands, have reached out, including all the other mayors. Congressman, I'm going to switch gears with you right now, and let's talk a little bit about ISIS and the crisis with Ukraine and the growing, increasing tension there. Straight up, can ISIS be defeated by this administration right now?
ISIS can be defeated, but there are a couple of things that have to happen first. I think, first of all, it's important for us to recognize that absolutely we should not be sending in occupying ground troops in order to support a nation-building mission and make the same mistakes that were made originally by the Bush administration and ultimately carried through by the Obama administration. In order for us to achieve that objective of destroying ISIS, the first thing that has to happen is we as a country, our president, our nation's leaders have to recognize that this is our mission. We have to recognize that we are at war with those who attacked us, the Islamic extremists who attacked us on 9/11, who at that time President Bush said we will seek out these terrorists wherever they are and destroy them. And hearing a message from our leaders at that time is a huge part of the reason why I and so many other people from Hawaii joined the military after 9/11 to help fight that war for our country. It is disheartening to see how through the Bush administration carried on by President Obama that mission was forgotten. And we ended up getting distracted by missions of nation building and occupying and overthrowing dictators. And we're seeing groups like ISIS, but there are many others called by different names and in other places that have been strengthened and now are presenting the threat that they are today.
Airstrikes is something that folks have been talking about for a few weeks now, but I think in the last maybe week, the momentum has grown that should be probably an option that the president should consider.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think we've seen how airstrikes can be very effective. I think when we look at the situation on the ground, if we recognize our mission is to destroy these Islamic extremists, then we can recognize tactically what's the best strategy to do that. And we can do that by providing this air cover, providing this offensive airstrikes, and partnering with other nations in the region who can and should provide the ground forces to do the fighting on the ground.
In the meantime, a lot of Americans are frustrated, they're angry, they're confused what to do because of this enemy.
Well, and I think that confusion is warranted because we are getting mixed messages, whether it's from the State Department or Department of Defense or from the President, and it's not clear yet that this is our mission, to destroy ISIS. We are also getting messages that our priority, stated by the President, is to uphold and build a strong central government in Iraq. And this is what I'm really worried about, that we could end up repeating the same mistakes that have been made previously of nation building and deploying both troops and resources in the name of a war to destroy these Islamic extremists. That should be our singular objective when we're looking at this issue.
Congressman, thank you for joining us once again and sharing your and also the good news for Hawaii farmers especially.
Very good news.
All right, when we come back, we have much more ahead. Tyza will give us a quick check of what's happening out on the roads and whether also just ahead, never forget, an important run that you can be a part of in helping to honor our fallen heroes. We'll tell you about that next when we come back.